presentation was over Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So first I wanted to start off by making the three bears, and I didn't know if I wanted to make them more complex or just like simple. So I started off making them squares with triangle ears, but I thought that kind of looked like a cat. And I tried like making the ears closer on the little bear or like spreading them out more, and it didn't look right to me. So I made the bodies an oval, and for the big bear I tried to do triangle ears, and I thought that looked like a cat, and then so I switched to rounder ears, and I still think it looks like a cat. So I switched the body to all circles, and the first one I tried making just like little stubby arms to make it kind of look like a cute little teddy bear, but it didn't really, I don't know, I thought it looked like a pig this time. And so I took the arms away, and it didn't look right, and so I just added little arms on the shoulders, and I thought that looked the closest to a bear, but maybe a little chubby. So I thinned it down, and then added arms to maybe give it some emotion, but that didn't look right again. So I ended up just going with little arms that weren't highlighted and thinned down. And that was my Papa Bear and Mama Bear and Baby Bear. So next I want to do Goldilocks, and I just wanted to make her simple in gold, obviously, because that's her name, but I decided to highlight her so you could see it better. And in my first scene, I wanted to do Goldilocks eating the porridge out of the bowls, and she's going to be breaking the baby bear's chair. So I thought you couldn't really see the chair at first with it. Like you couldn't see it from the table, so I added a highlight on the table, and then I wanted to put Goldilocks in the scene. And I didn't really think it looked good like this because you can see blue between Goldilocks and the chair. And so I put her in the mom's chair, and I didn't think that looked right either, so I ended up leaving her in the baby bear's chair because that was going to be the chair breaking anyways. So I made her eating porridge, and then that was the chair breaking, and I thought that looked the best. So I added a black background and changed the highlights to white so that it would, I don't know, I thought black background looked the best, so that was my final scene one. And my next scene was them sleeping, or Goldilocks sleeping in the bed. So I added Goldilocks, and I wanted to put the black underneath kind of be like a sheet so you could see a difference, and then the white highlighted box was like the bed folded over. And then I decided to add a black highlight around the outside so it kind of gave it some depth. And I didn't know if I wanted it like the first scene to be a black background with a white outline around the beds, but I didn't like that, so I added the three bears looking at her while she was sleeping, and then left it white. So that's my final scene too. And then I wanted to do like the Webkinz room, like we were showed in the presentation. And so I added a sidewalk and blue backgrounds with trees to give it depth, and then added in the three bears and Goldilocks running away, because that's how the story ends. So that was my final scene 3. So that was scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3.
You need to ask them for questions.
Oh, questions? Haley?
How did you decide your colors? Like, how did you decide blue?
I just chose 2 colors, and I guess the blue was just the darker color, and then the gold because Goldilocks needed to be gold.
Can we still see her?
I like your choice for the bears because they remind me of gummy bears, and so that's exactly what I think of when I saw it. I was like, oh, it's a bear. And the size was obviously the right choice because you showed, Papa Bear is the biggest one down to the baby bear. But I also think with the beds, you could have made them like how you did the table, almost make them 3D instead of just having a box.
Yeah.
because I mean, when I first saw it, I didn't know they were beds, and so I was like, oh yeah, the story, they're beds. But I feel like that could have been a stronger thing that you could have done and made the kids 3D throughout the entire story.
Yeah, right now they look, at first glance, kind of like doors with transoms or something at the top, you know.
I just think that you can add to scene to the beds, like you can make them messy somehow or something.
Make them what?
Messy, since she did try them out.
Oh, yeah, that's a
You could also, like you have the line for baby bears, like
Full
stuff,
window.
yeah. That would have made it more look like a bed, right?
For scene one, it's like really dark and black, so maybe you can make like the plates white, maybe? I don't know. It just seems like really dark for a kitchen.
Well, I can kind of see the darkness because it's ominous that, you know, this is the first big mistake she makes. She comes in and she breaks the chair. But I also think that by comparison, then you kind of have an unfinished look in the next two. And maybe you need to think about a way to, I'm not really sure exactly what you want to do there. One thing that I think is obvious here is the limitation of using a triangle for Goldilocks. Because I know you're thinking, well, Little Red Riding Hood was a red triangle, yes. But in the scenes in which Little Red Riding Hood was depicted in Molly Banks' book, she's really not the action character. It's the wolf and his changing expression, etc., that is making it a scene as he spies her, and she's pretty much a stationary object. But here, the problem is that you've got Goldilocks out there in the woods, but we really can't tell if she's coming or going. And literally, we can't tell if the bears are facing us or turned away. So with Goldilocks not having any kind of features that would indicate she's leaving, we have to put most of the story into that scene. There's something else, though, in that last scene, I think, though, that would improve it. If folks see it, there's just one simple thing that she could do.
You could add a rug to make it look like a house or a door that was open,
Mm-hmm.
and the windows could have,
maybe a couch or something.
and the windows could have
Well,
like drapes.
You know, you don't want it to make it look, this is why I hate to give you ideas. When I give you model, you know, then you want to make it just like that. We don't want to make it look like that other
Yeah, that's
Webkins
why I
room.
didn't add a couch, because I didn't want it to look just like
Right. But the way we have the bears there right now, it looks to me like their front room is a ballroom or something. You could put 50 bears in there and have them dancing. Also, you notice how Papa Bear's head is kind of photobombed by the floorboard there? I think if you just made those bears much bigger, the room would proportionately shrink for us, and we'd have less sets of them being in a huge house. Because, you know, they live in I'm pretty confident they live in a modest home in the woods, that they're not really rich bears somehow. They wouldn't be concerned about having an unwanted house guest, you know, if things were, you know, especially tight there. I think they're living on the poverty line. Other questions and comments about it, things you can suggest?
I really liked your process work for bears. It seemed like you really thought it through and started from like beginning and got to where we are pretty well.
Anything else? I don't think you're all very observant today.
I said more than it was.
Yeah, well, you can still go a ways. What about Goldilocks in the first scene? Hmm.
She's still reaching at the table whenever she's falling.
Yeah, and do
Wanted
you
it
fall
to make it look
exactly parallel to the picture frame?
I mean, if the chair breaks out from under you, you fall,
You go
just
straight
right onto your
down.
butt. That's what I thought. Like she
I
was still
think
grabbing the spoon.
the arm
and
would
just
be
falling.
down too, and she'd have the spoon in it.
I
I
thought-
get the impression here that her arm just stretched.
Well, she's
Like, she's like
little.
grabbing the table and
She's little,
the
so it
spoon
just works.
and
She's
falls.
falling, she's
Or side
trying to hold on.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't work very well. I think, there, again, it's the problem with the triangle, because we know from Molly Bang, if we tip that triangle, it puts tension in the picture, but it doesn't make her seem to be very stable. And yet, it doesn't seem like a very natural fall. It looks like the front legs have gone out of the chair, and she's still holding on, maybe she's still holding on to the table or something.
She does her squats really good.
Okay, at any rate, there's some things you can work on for putting it in your e-portfolio. Nobody said anything about her delivery. Somebody needs to tell us.
You kind of talk to the screen a lot. It's okay, it happens, but
Yeah,
just,
I think you do it, and you did it, and then you become conscious of it and stop, but then you get back into it.
yeah.
And overall, you need a little more volume also. So, anybody else? Thank you, Taylor.